So welcome again to Prelim Sprint 2022. I'm Sudbi Sardana and I'm taking this discussion for important environmental acts and legislations. Two of these we have done at 5 p.m. today, that was Indian Forest Act 1927 and Forest Rights Act of 2006. Now we'll be taking a few more important acts and legislations related to environment, and first of all we need to discuss that what was the need that was there, that was felt, and what time it was felt that we need to protect our wildlife, forest and environment in India. So 1972 में एक ह्यूमन एनवायरनमेंट एक नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस ऑन ह्यूमन एनवायरनमेंट हुई थी, दैट वाज हेल्ड इन स्टॉकहोम. इन दैट कॉन्फ्रेंस इट वाज रियलाइज्ड कि एनवायरनमेंट सच में बहुत ज़्यादा डिटेरियोरेट हो रही है एंड वी नीड टू कम टुगेदर to protect the environment. So Indian Constitution was amended in 1972. If you remember the 42nd Amendment, if you cannot recall the 42nd Amendment, go back to this series where we have discussed important amendments in detail. There we have taught you that what were the provisions related to environment that were brought in 42nd Amendment. So the 42nd Amendment Act was brought in 1976 and it was recognized that forest and protection of wild animals and birds was transferred from state list to concurrent list. कि सिर्फ स्टेट की हाई सब्जेक्ट नहीं होगा, इट इज़ अ ड्यूटी ऑफ central government also to for this protection of forest and wild life. So that was transferred to concurrent list. Both the governments can make laws on it. Also fundamental duties were included. Article 51G of the Constitution of the fundamental duties makes it the fundamental duty of every citizen to protect and improve the natural environment including forest and wildlife. And there is a directive principle also. This is the third legislative provision, that is Article 48 in the Directive Principles of State Policy, which mandates that the state shall endeavour to protect and improve the environment and to safeguard the forest and wildlife of the country. Also the Supreme Court from time to time under Article 21A, right to life, has recognized that right to a healthy environment, noise free, pollution free environment is a fundamental right which is recognized under the Constitution. So Article 21A of the Constitution assures the citizens of India right to a healthy environment. So these four are the legislative measures. Question is highly probable from this part of the syllabus. So just remember that just remember the timeline and the legislative measures in place that we have in India. Now we'll study about the most important act, that is the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. Why was it needed and what does it do? How does it protect the wildlife of the country? Also this act has been in news. Currently current affairs में बहुत चल रहा है कि इस पर amendment लाने की हमें ज़रूरत है. So just prepare this act in detail and study with us right now. The first thing that you have to remember here is that under this act, National Board for Wildlife has been set up at the national level and state governments भी State Board for Wildlife set up कर सकती है इस act के अंदर. So we'll see the how this is constituted. National Board for Wildlife, Prime Minister is the chairperson of National Board for Wildlife and the vice chairperson is Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. So just remember the chairmanship here. What does National Board for Wildlife do? Conservation of wild animals and plants that is carried out. उसके लिए जो policy measures that are required, वो advises central government को और state government को देते हैं. And it is responsible for the setting up of national parks and sanctuaries and other protected areas. जब ये एक्ट नहीं आया था या जब ये एक्ट लाया गया था 1972 में, उस टाइम पर हमारे पास ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा 5 नेशनल पार्क्स थे, 5 नेशनल पार्क्स और कुछ वाइल्ड लाइफ सैंक्चुरीज. बट नाउ वी हैव मोर देन 100 नेशनल पार्क्स एंड थैंक्स टू दिस एक्ट एंड नेशनल बोर्ड फॉर वाइल्ड लाइफ which has from time to time come up with these measures of introducing of recognizing certain areas as national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. तो हमारी wildlife and environment को wildlife and biodiversity को protection मिल सकी है. So it promotes conservation and development of wildlife and forest. Just remember सिर्फ wildlife ही नहीं, forest भी. So biodiversity, whether plants or animals, both are protected under this act. So state wildlife advisory boards हैं, state board for wildlife है. It gives regulations for hunting wild animals and birds under this act. So it is there for establishments of national parks and wildlife sanctuaries as we discussed, and regulation of trade in wild animals या जो plants हैं वो भी इसके through advise किए जाते हैं. Regulation is done by National Board for Wildlife only. Again judicially imposed penalties जो हैं they are specified under the powers of this particular body. Now what are the authorities that are given under except from National Board for Wildlife and State Board for Board of Wildlife. So there are three authorities. The central government appoints the Director of Wildlife Preservation. The state governments appoint the Chief Wildlife Warden. Very important body. अगर किसी एनिमल को हंट करना होता है, अगर वर्मिन भी डिक्लेयर करना होता है, तो इस पर्टिकुलर अथॉरिटी की परमिशन चाहिए होती है. दैट इज चीफ वाइल्ड लाइफ वार्डन ऑफ स्टेट. And if the state has a lot of wildlife and biodiversity, so the state government can appoint wildlife wardens for districts also. So that these are the three important people there. What are the features of this act? First of all, प्रोटेक्ट करना है वाइल्ड लाइफ और बायोडाइवर्सिटी को. तो प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए सबसे पहले हंटिंग और ट्रेड रोका जाएगा. सो प्रोहिबिशन ऑफ हंटिंग ऑफ एनी वाइल्ड लाइफ एनिमल विच आर स्पेसिफाइड इन शेड्यूल 1, 2, 3 और 4 एक्सेप्ट फॉर सर्टन प्रोविजंस. एक्सेप्ट व्हेन जब कोई डिजीज़ हो जाता है, जब वो एक थ्रेट कॉज कर रहे होते हैं ह्यूमन सर्वाइवल को और नॉर्मल लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को. सो द चीफ वाइल्ड लाइफ वार्डन ऑफ द स्टेट हैज़ टू गिव परमिशन फॉर दैट. एंड सिमिलरली फॉर प्लांट्स ऑल्सो देयर इज प्रोहिबिशन of cutting or uprooting of specified plants. It prohibits the uprooting, damage, collection, possession or selling of any specified plant from any forest land or any protected area. And what are the exceptions? When can a plant be uprooted? अगर उसको educational purposes के लिए use किया जाना है या scientific research के लिए या preservation in a herbarium or any person or institution is approved to do so by the central government. So only then that can be carried out. And we've already studied that declaration and protection of wildlife sanctuaries and national parks is carried out under this act only. What are the various bodies? Constitution of various bodies has been done. National Board for Wildlife and State Board for Wildlife. NTCA, National Tiger Conservation Authority, which is headed by Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. That is also constituted under this act. इस act में amendment लाई गई थी around 2004 and NTCA was constituted for the implementation of Project Tiger. Central Zoo Authority, again a statutory authority, very important authority, that has also been constituted under this act. अगेन शेड्यूल 1 में कौन से एनिमल्स है? शेड्यूल 1 में वो एनिमल्स हैं जो बहुत ही ज़्यादा एंडेंजर्ड है, एनिमल्स या प्लांट स्पीशीज़ जो बहुत ही ज़्यादा एंडेंजर्ड है. उनकी हंटिंग या हंटिंग बिल्कुल भी अलाउड नहीं होती, ट्रेड बिल्कुल भी अलाउड नहीं होता, एंड द पेनल्टीज आर हाईएस्ट. So they need rigorous protection and they are protected from poaching, killing and trading. Also they are the wildlife and biodiversity which have harshest penalties if they are hunted. So the only exception is अगर वो threat to human life बन जाते हैं या उनको कोई ऐसा disease हो जाता है जिसका कोई cure ही नहीं है, only then they can be hunted. Schedule 2 again they are also very highly endangered animals but थोड़े Schedule 1 से कम होता है, तो इसकी punishment भी थोड़ी सी कम harsh होती है. Again high protection with a prohibition on their trade, that is there. Just remember we've already completed 4 lecture discussions on the important species that are found in India that are important from examination point of view. Go through all the 4 lectures and if you do not have time go to our Telegram channel. At least आप उसका PDF download कीजिए and read that out before sitting for prelims this year. And note down for every species कि वो कौन से act में, कौन से schedule में fall in करती हैं Wildlife Protection Act के, and उनका IUCN status क्या है. Schedule 3 and 4 also इनके अंडर जो animals या plants listed होते हैं उनकी punishment थोड़ी सी कम होती है. Okay, the next one is the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act of 1974 and Amendment of 1988. The important part that you have to remember here is कि जो Central Pollution Control Board है या State Pollution Control Boards हैं वो इस act के अंडर सेट किए गए हैं, वो किसी और act के अंडर नहीं आते हैं. So if a question like that is asked, you must know that this was the act which was used. So अब जो हम डील करेंगे, अब हम लोग pollution से related acts के बारे में study करेंगे, Water Act, Air Act and then Environmental Protection Act. So CPCB and SPCBs are set up under this act and they are the ones which are responsible to enforce effluent standards for factories. Factories कितना water pollution cause कर रही हैं, कितने pollutants release कर रही हैं, they are controlled by central state pollution control boards and at the center they report to central pollution control boards. So they are different for all the states, those standards are different and ये जो agencies हैं, ये जो boards हैं, they can test equipment and take sample from any industry for the purpose of analysis. एक amendment आई थी इसके लिए 1988 में, उससे पहले क्रिमिनल एक्ट माना जाता था कि कोई भी इसके लिए जुडिशियल इंटरवेंशन अवेलेबल नहीं थी. सो वॉट एवर स्टैंडर्ड्स वर बीइंग ब्रीच्ड, they were taken as criminal cases. But after the 1988 amendment, CPCB or state pollution control boards can shut down the industry on their own. तो अब criminal वो नहीं है, criminal act नहीं है. And if the affluent standards are breached, they can be directly shut by these boards only. So 1988 amendment act empowered SPSB and CPCB to close a defaulting industrial plant. Now we'll talk about the Air Act of 1981. Similar, it is almost a mirror of what was there in the Water Act. It is बस फ़र्क इतना है कि air pollution regulate करने के लिए है. And the important point about this act that you have to remember is कि noise pollution is covered under this particular act. Noise pollution, low noise pollution is covered under article 21 of the constitution also. That noise pollution, noise pollution में आपका right to life breach होता है if there is noise beyond a particular decibel level. So noise pollution is covered under Air Act of 1981. This is all what you have to remember. बाकी जो standards हैं वो same है. State pollution control boards और central pollution control board, they are the ones regulating this act, but they were set up under the previous act. Now, Environment Protection Act of 1986. The background of this act was the Bhopal gas tragedy. Bhopal gas tragedy जब हुई तो ये the government recognized कि ऐसे हमारे पास legislation नहीं है place में कि हम जो actual criminals हैं, actual जिनकी गलती है, उनको हम लोग sue कर सकें. So this act was brought in and it gave central government a lot of powers to enforce any kind of legislation, to enforce any kind of to use its powers to punish the right people or to enforce any kind of environmental standards or pollution control standards that had to be in place, that need to be enforced. So what you have to remember here is that it is considered an umbrella legislation that fills all the lacunae in the existing legislations. Also जो United Nations Conference on Human Environment हुई थी 1972 में, so this act was brought in to implement the decisions taken there. So इस act के through the central government got all the authority it needed to enforce environmental legislations. Also it now not only deals with what is the harm of environment to human beings, but also to other living creatures, plants and property as well. So that's what you have to remember. So what is covered here is all the water, air and land. In fact all the interrelationship between water, air and land, microorganisms भी इस act के अंदर cover होते हैं, even if they are getting affected. So what you have to see here is that what can central government do? It can enforce the coordination of action by states. If the central government wants some coordination by states, that can be done. Planning and execution of nationwide programs can be done under this. Laying down of environmental quality standards. BIS standards lay down किए जाते हैं कि water में कितना content mercury का होना चाहिए, कितना uranium का होना चाहिए, अगर उससे ज़्यादा है तो harmful है. So it can also lay down the environmental quality standards under this act, and it can place restrictions on the location of industries and the effluents that are released by industries. Central government or any authority which is decided by the central government, they can visit industries and can shut down industries अगर वो targets, अगर वो limits breach कर रहे हैं. Environmental impact assessment, which has been recognized as a very important tool to protect the rights of people staying there जहाँ पर कोई भी नया project लाया जाना है. So environmental impact assessment is also gets legal validation from this particular act of 1986, that is Environmental Protection Act. So this is what you have to remember. This is all about in detail about environmental impact assessment. Draft rules आए थे, amendments आई थी. So I hope that you are preparing. Even if you're not able to cover, we cover current affairs related to environment and contemporary affairs as well on a weekly basis. So go to those classes and check out the latest amendments that have been brought in. The next one and the last one is the Biological Diversity Act of 2002. Now what you have to see here is United Nations Convention on Biodiversity. इंडिया इसका पार्ट है, तो इस पार्ट के अंडर इंडिया गेट्स अ लॉट ऑफ राइट्स ऑल्सो एंड अ लॉट ऑफ ड्यूटीज ऑल्सो. सो इट recognizes, UNCBD recognizes the sovereign rights. Sovereign rights means rights of a country of states to use their own biological resources. जो भी biological knowledge हमारे पास है, हमारे पास biological resources हैं, microorganisms, plants, anything. कोई भी अगर हम पुरानी मेडिसिन, आयुर्वेदिक मेडिसिन सिस्टम चलता आ रहा है तो उसको प्रोटेक्ट करने की जिम्मेदारी हमारी है, एंड वी हैव ऑल द राइट्स टू avail benefits out of it. So it recognizes the sovereign rights of states to use their own biological resources. इन ऑर्डर टू हेल्प रियलाइजिंग द ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ UNCBD, इंडिया ये एक्ट लेकर आया था, बायोलॉजिकल डाइवर्सिटी एक्ट ऑफ 2002, ताकि जो भी UNCBD में हमें राइट्स और ड्यूटीज़ दिए गए हैं हम उनको रियलाइज़ कर सकें, उनको हम लोग एक्शन में ला सकें. सो दिस what is the aim of this act? Conservation of biological resources, associated knowledge and facilitate access to them in a sustainable manner and through a just process. कितनी बार होता है things like turmeric, they are getting patented somewhere abroad, कि कोई भी medicine turmeric से बना दी गई है and उसको patent कहाँ मिल रहा है, किसी और country में, while that is indigenous knowledge, that is knowledge of indigenous communities of India. तो उस knowledge पे India का right है और उस community का right है जिसने वो medicine develop की है, जिसके लिए जो वो medicine इतने सालों से चलाते आ रहे हैं. So those rights, ensuring those rights had to be done and this act played a key role in that. So ये act को फंक्शन में लाने के लिए 3 टियर अथॉरिटीज़ डेवलप की गई हैं. द फर्स्ट वन इज़ नेशनल बायोडाइवर्सिटी अथॉरिटी. स्टेट लेवल पर स्टेट बायोडाइवर्सिटी बोर्ड्स हैं, देयर इज़ नो अथॉरिटी, बोर्ड्स आर देयर. एंड एट द लोकल लेवल बायोडाइवर्सिटी मैनेजमेंट कमेटीज़ आर देयर. सो 3 टियर स्ट्रक्चर इज समथिंग दैट यू हैव टू रिमेंबर. ऑल्सो इस एक्ट के अंडर जो थ्रेटेंड स्पीशीज़ होती हैं वो नोटिफाई कर दी जाती हैं ऑन द रिकमेंडेशन ऑफ नेशनल बायोडाइवर्सिटी अथॉरिटी. ऑल्सो दिस एक्ट स्टिपुलेट्स ऑल द जो भी इसमें क्राइम्स होते हैं, दे आर नॉन बेलेबल एंड कॉग्नाइजेबल. एंड इस एक्ट से रिलेटेड जो भी आपकी कंप्लेंट्स होती हैं किसी की भी, दे गो टू द नेशनल ग्रीन ट्राइब्यूनल. ऑल्सो वन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन यू मस्ट रिमेंबर, नेशनल ग्रीन ट्राइब्यूनल कौन कौन से एक्ट से रिलेटेड कंप्लेंट्स ले सकता है और कौन से एक्ट से रिलेटेड नहीं ले सकता. दिस क्वेश्चन हैज़ बीन वेरी मच प्रोमिनेंट इन टेस्ट सीरीज. प्रिपेयर दैट बिफोर योर एग्जाम. So National Biodiversity Authority in Chennai was set up in 2003 under this particular act. It is a statutory body क्योंकि statute एक act के अंदर set की गई है, and autonomous body under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Also जो भी intellectual property rights दिए जाने हैं biodiversity के से related, they are given or suggested by this particular body. Also the knowledge of local people, just like I gave you the example of turmeric, medicines based on turmeric, knowledge of local people उसको protect करना, that is the mandate of this particular body. It advises the government of India in notification of threatened species. तो ये पहले government को advise करेंगे and then government gives the list of threatened species of that particular time. It generates awareness regarding rights of local people and the biodiversity therein, and it also generates database and documentation system through mass media. अगर किसी और कंट्री में इंडियन बायोडाइवर्सिटी को यूज़ या मिसयूज़ किया गया है या उससे रिलेटेड नॉलेज, एनी नॉलेज रिलेटेड टू इंडियन बायोडाइवर्सिटी हैज़ बीन यूज्ड विदाउट द प्रायर परमिशन ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट, देन दिस बॉडी हैज़ ऑल द राइट्स. ये सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की कैपेसिटी में एक्ट कर सकते हैं टू टेक द नेसेसरी एक्शन against that particular body placed in any country of the world. So that is its power. It's a very powerful body. प्रपोज्ड अमेंडमेंट क्या है, क्योंकि बहुत सारे रिकमेंडेशंस चाहिए होती हैं, बहुत सारी परमिशंस चाहिए होती हैं नेशनल बायोडाइवर्सिटी अथॉरिटी से, अगर कुछ भी किसी के इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी राइट्स वायलेट ना हो. सो लॉट ऑफ रिसर्च हैज़ बीन हैम्पर्ड. रिसर्च बहुत ज़्यादा स्लो हो गई है. जो इंटर कंट्री टाइप्स होते हैं, पार्टनरशिप्स होती हैं रिलेटेड टू बायोडाइवर्सिटी और रिसर्च इन बायोडाइवर्सिटी दे हैव slowed down. So amendments have been proposed in 2021. एक बिल टेबल किया गया था पार्लियामेंट में, that some provisions of this act will be done away with. उनको decriminalize कर दिया जाएगा, जिस वजह से इंडिया दूसरी कंट्रीज़ के साथ या इंडियन रिसर्च ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस दूसरी रिसर्च ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के साथ बायोडाइवर्सिटी पर अच्छे से रिसर्च कर पाएंगी विदाउट harming the rights of our indigenous communities or the indigenous knowledge that we have in India. So this was all about today's lecture. Download the PDF for this presentation from the link in the description below. It will take you to our Telegram channel, and from there you can download it. Prepare well, keep revising, study hard, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for tomorrow's discussion. Thank you.